and the summer holidays are now finally starting in England. But while children celebrate, lots of mums and dads are already thinking about the new term in September and how they're going to pay for those school uniforms.
Can be very expensive. The government set out plans in the King's Speech to limit the number of branded uniform items in an effort to bring down on costs. For many schools, it could mean scrapping branded PE kits. Our education reporter Vanessa Clark has more.
The first lesson of the day for the pupils here at Nine Styles will certainly wake them up. It's dodgeball. Students here need 4 branded items as part of their uniform: a blazer, a tie and the branded PE kit.
Morning, Logan. Morning.
Which the principal would be reluctant to lose.
I think that would be a step that we'd have to think very carefully about. We'd obviously want to review the guidance and the policy and make sure that anything we did would be in line with that. But I do think what you'd be likely to see is families going out and buying branded items from some of the big sportswear manufacturers, and that might actually create less unity amongst our community. One of the key things with the uniform is that it brings that equality and fairness for everybody and makes sure that nobody's stigmatised or stands out from not having the latest item or the most branded kind of sportswear.
2 years ago, schools were given new guidance, which said the number of branded items on their school uniform list needs to be kept to a minimum. So that's anything with a logo or that needs to be bought in a specific shop. They were also asked to provide second-hand uniforms, either within the school like this or from another provider. But the government now plans to introduce an exact cap on how many branded items schools can require. Welcome news to some.
What we find in our poll is that 2/3 of secondary school parents still think they're paying too much for uniform, and half of primary school parents believe that they're paying too much for uniform. And despite the changes in the law, parents are still being required to pay for 3, 4, 5 branded items, and we think that needs to change.
At this second-hand charity in Huddersfield, 7,000 bags of uniforms are expected to be handed out this year to local families.
We need to fill these gaps where there's no shorts and there's no PE t-shirts.
But there are fewer PE kits on the shelves because many schools have already changed their policies.
If they took it even tighter, we would see less donations come in, so we wouldn't have as much to give to those families struggling.
Instead, Kate would like to see tighter rules on changing uniforms.
We've seen schools change their logos 3 times in 5 years.
That's frustrating for the parents.
For the parents and for us, because we're ragging hundreds of items of quality uniform that really has a lot of life left in it.
Yeah, socks branded, name on back at shirt. You know, you couldn't even pass it down because it said a name on back.
In Halifax, mum of 2, Helen Rutherford, agrees with the idea of a uniform, but says it can add up.
It has to be from a certain shop, and it does cost money, and you know it's hard. But I suppose the kids are all the same, so nobody's, you know, making fun out of people for not having a decent jumper on or whatever else.
So this one's a plain one. This probably, we'll put a badge on this before it goes. So we can embroider it here as well.
But the industry feels the rules have gone far enough.
I think a lot of schools were already doing the right thing. I think schools in general are very responsible in terms of their uniform policy. But changes have been made, and we can see that the number of compulsory school branded items has gone down to about 7% since 2022, which is quite a significant reduction.
If you get tagged, what do?
The government has not made a decision yet on what the new limit will be, but it's something both schools and parents will be keeping a close eye on. Vanessa Clark, BBC News, Birmingham.
There are loads of brilliant organisations across the UK trying to help families, and we can speak now to Sadie Coventry, who's the director of Merry-Go-Round, a community venture that sells pre-loved school clothes. I don't know how loved those school uniforms were, Sadie, but we'll take your word for it. How busy are things for you right now?
It's all stepping up now that we've joined the school holidays, and as you say, everyone's thinking about the new school term. We'll have hundreds of customers coming in to our store because we do give all the school uniform away free of charge. We have lots and lots of the standard items, you know, plain grains, the grey skirts and shorts and trousers and white polo shirts. And then we do get donated back branded items from, well, probably about 15 local schools, which we obviously use to help people that are struggling to afford to buy uniforms. So yeah, we're expecting it to be busy for the next 6 weeks.
And how much pressure is there on parents? Because in almost every case, the children just have to have these things, don't they? You kind of can't get out of it.
They do. My college my son attends has just actually ditched blazers. They had logo blazers, ties, shirts, specific trousers and skirts. They've now gone back to plain white polo shirts. They've lost the tie and it's now just a logoed sweatshirt. So everybody in the entire school is obviously going to be buying brand new this year. The PE kit has stayed the same because they changed that not that long ago. But the PE kit alone, we've obviously been costing because we've got to buy a whole new uniform. And the PE kit alone is going to cost £53 if we just go for the absolute bare minimum of a short sleeve polo top and the socks, plain shorts, and then a long sleeve training top. And there's many more items, and they still need rugby boots or footwear. So the PE kit actually is going to be more expensive than buying a school uniform.
Yeah, Sadie, well, look, thank you so much for explaining that. Good work that you're doing. Have a busy, not too busy, few weeks. Rest up. We'd love to hear from your stories at home this morning on this issue. It's an experience that affects so many, doesn't it?
Yeah. How many branded items do you have to buy for your child's school uniform? Will a 3-item limit actually make a difference?
Are you in support of uniforms? Maybe you think you should just get rid of uniforms altogether. Pupils will wear their own clothes, or is that even more expensive?
Even worse.
Yeah.